2 Fridays from now, on July 5th, LCBO workers could go on strike. The date was set by the union to avoid affecting the first long weekend of the summer, which of course is Canada Day, the previous weekend. JMM, what's this dispute all about?
Well, predictably, part of the argument is that LCBO workers are looking for wage increases as well as more secure working conditions. Something like 70% of LCBO workers are part-time and don't get benefits, according to the union. But the biggest sticking point, probably not surprising if you've been paying attention to the news, the union wants expanded retail locations within the LCBO system and wants more constraints on alcohol sales outside of the LCBO.
Well, of course, we can still purchase beer at the beer store, and we can get beer and wine in supermarkets, I guess, and they are coming to corner stores if the government has its way. But spirits, what about spirits? The LCBO workers go on strike. What happens then?
You're out of luck if you're a person who enjoys whiskey or rum or gin or whatever. When there was a threat of a strike in 2013, and we've seen this consistently, the LCBO has said previously that they have contingency plans to serve commercial customers, including bars and restaurants. We haven't had a threatened strike like this before. Maybe the LCBO can keep bars and restaurants stocked in a strike condition. It's an open question whether they could keep bars, restaurants, supermarkets, and depending on how long a strike goes, corner stores operating.
It's a long list. I don't think the LCBO's ever had a strike, have they?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think they have. No. Anyway, of course, we remember back a few weeks ago, Doug Ford making a very high-profile announcement about ending the Master Framework Agreement a year early, $225 million to do that, or more if you believe the opposition. How does all of that attempt to liberalize beer and wine sales affect what's going on in this strike? Potential strike.
Well, understandably, OPSU members are concerned about the future of their job security. Just to give a specific case here, there's been a growing sector in alcohol sales of basically like canned cocktails, right? Drinks made out of various spirits. OPSU's position is that the government says that spirits will continue to be sold exclusively through the LCBO, so that drinks made from spirits should also be exclusively sold through the LCBO. They want to keep that business line for their members. But the government's position is that these are generally lower alcohol beverages that are really more analogous to beer and cider. So they should be sold in grocery stores and corner stores. That's just one sort of example of the kind of dispute here between the government and OPSU.
The LCBO, I think, takes in about $2.5 billion annually in revenue, which goes directly to the Treasury to be spent on programs, services, etc. The Premier is adamant that under the new liberalized system, the province will realize more income. Do we know if that's in fact true?
If you take the government's plan as stated, the LCBO operations will become more and more focused on the sale of spirits and higher, and the LCBO makes more money off of spirits. It's a higher margin product, if you want to put it that way. So in theory, you could see the LCBO become a more profitable enterprise with its existing footprint.
In theory.
Right. The catch here is that if the LCBO is making more money for the province in this system, it's probably because they are shedding locations and jobs.
Well, that's the thing. Let's tell like it is here, because if fewer people are shopping for stuff at the LCBO, the LCBO won't need as many unionized employees or as many locations, theoretically. I mean, that's the nub of the problem, isn't it, for the union?
That's exactly it. And we come back to this again. It's sometimes in politics there are win-win outcomes, and sometimes it's just a hard choice between who's going to win and who's going to lose. And OPSU, I don't think unreasonably, I use the word existential here, but they see it as a threat, a fundamental threat to the livelihoods of their members.
Right. I don't like making predictions, mostly because I'm always wrong. So why would you want to go on the record of being an idiot? But I am willing to make a prediction that as we count down to July the 5th, and if there is no agreement in place, we have seen this movie before, right? People start to panic, and they will go out, and there will be incredibly long lineups at the LCBO as people stock up in anticipation of whatever might happen after the 5th of July. So my prediction is, if you want to beat those lineups and you're adamant about getting your booze for the cottage, Better get out there now.
Yeah, don't ask about my whereabouts for the 4th of July.